The FBI says 21-year-old Shelton Bell trained to fight with terrorist groups in the Middle East, but they caught him before he could.
Yesterday, U.S. District Court Judge Timothy Corrigan sentenced Bell to 20 years in federal prison and a lifetime of government supervision. Bell, who was arrested in 2012 and pleaded guilty 2 years later, faced up to 30 years in prison. News 4 Jax investigator Vic Micolucci has been following this case since the start and spoke exclusively with the FBI. He's joining us now. Vic?
Well, Tom, the FBI is just one group of the Joint Terrorism Task Force that worked on the case. Investigators say Shelton Bell was 100% invested in the cause. The Jacksonville native is what they called a homegrown violent extremist. These videos show he knew what he was doing, and he was trying to recruit other young people to join the jihad. Shelton Bell's home videos show him setting off bombs in the woods in Jacksonville, frag grenades he made at home.
This is bomb making 101. Homemade weapons of mass destruction.
In another clip, he's at target practice with two other young men. Later, Bell documented his travel to the Middle East in hopes of joining the jihad, the holy war for radical Islam. He went with a juvenile who's also been prosecuted. Officials in Jordan caught them before they could join any terrorist groups and deported them back to the U.S. into the hands of the FBI.
We have somebody who understands the U.S., understands the way we do business here, and certainly with that kind of radical ideology, you just don't know what sets a person like that off, and they're a danger to everybody.
FBI Jacksonville's assistant special agent in charge talked about the case with me today. He's glad to see it finally closed with a 20-year prison sentence.
We had a very bad individual that we were able to identify, and the case concluded with a sentence that was a reasonable sentence. It was great.
We should not deviate from the straight path. Yes, fighting is included. Your lives may be at stake. But what is more noble than fighting for the cause of Allah alone?
How dangerous is a person like that with that kind of mentality?
He had access to the weapons, and he had access to understanding how to make explosives. I would call that to be, capable of being able to commit out his threat.
In the videos, Bell references that federal agents could be watching him.
FBI is probably like, yep, those are explosives.
They were. In this tapped phone conversation after the two returned from the Middle East, he tells the juvenile to keep quiet.
If FBI come and talk to you, just say, I have the right to remain silent.
Anti-terrorism agents knew everywhere they went. They built their case and arrested the pair months later. As far as we know, he didn't kill anyone, but if agents did not stop him when they did, do you think he would have?
Well, there's always that possibility. I mean, whether it happens if he travels abroad or comes here, the concern that once a person is committed and they have that commitment, you don't know what's going to cause them and what the time is going to be for them to go ahead and commit an act of jihad, whether it be here or anywhere else. So certainly the entire community was at risk for somebody like that to do something very egregious.
During his sentencing hearing, Shelton Bell apologized, saying he wasn't thinking about the consequences of his actions. He said he wanted to turn his life around and eventually help the government prevent terrorism. But the judge wrote a 40-page order explaining why he felt Bell should spend the next 20 years behind bars. Mary.